What's up, everybody, and thank you for downloading this free guide, Secret Mold Control Hacks. 7 virtually unknown hacks that will help you eliminate mold in your home and actually improve your air quality. Okay, so this video here is designed to really kind of walk you through all the steps if you have any trouble, like how to actually do the things, right? So before we get into those actual tactics though, I kind of want to share with you why mold control is important to me. So back in 2017, my area that I live at right now got hit with 61 inches of rain. 87 families in my church flooded. Okay, so the first 2 weeks of this storm, which the first week it was raining the whole time, at least at night, and we were rescuing people out of their homes and putting them up and feeding them. And then after that, all the thrill and the glamour went away. But we spent like 6 months going into homes and gutting them. And the longer it got, the worse the mold got. It was disgusting. And my health was very much impaired by breathing that stuff. And at that time I had been into like some odor removal, so I knew a little bit about mold. I knew enough not to use bleach and things like that, but I didn't know near what I know now. So here's a few statistics that you may not know of. Over 70% of the American homes have unsafe levels of mold, and one of the most misdiagnosed issues that people have is mold sensitivity. So there's a lot of people that are sick and they can't figure it out, and it's because they're sensitive to mold that they don't know that they're breathing. So that's why it's important to me. Mold is of the fungi family, right? So the EPA and the CDC have classified mold as an allergen, right? So there's an immune response when it's breathed, and some people are more allergic to certain types of mold than other people. So one thing people don't realize about mold is one kind of mold oftentimes doesn't like another kind of mold. So when they try to take over an area, they go to war. Instead of shooting bullets, they shoot what they call mycotoxins. And this puts toxic particles in the air. And these mycotoxins, every one of them are toxic because they're toxins, right? But a lot of them are carcinogenic, and that means they cause cancer. So we really, really want to control the mold in our home. So for mold to grow, it takes 3 things. It takes a mold spore, which you're just not going to avoid on planet Earth. You're going to have them. And then the second is a place for it to grow. You know, a piece of wood, a drywall. The more porous, the easier it is for mold to grow. And so you can't avoid that either if we're going to live in houses, right? And lastly, it's moisture, right? Anything above 50%, we're at risk for mold. So of these 3 things, the one thing that we can control is moisture. Okay, everybody, so here we are inside of the guide, Secret Mold Control Hacks, 7 virtually unknown secrets to keep mold from growing in your house and actually improve your air quality. All right, so here we are. This is the video you're actually watching right here. And as I mentioned before, 3 main ingredients to mold growth, right? First, we have the mold spore itself, which is just part of being on planet Earth. We're never going to escape that 100%. And then there's the food source, right? So any surface, the more porous the surface, the more prone we are to mold growth, but any surface will produce mold in the right circumstances. And then lastly is the moisture content. Anything above 50% moisture, we are at risk for mold. So of those 3 things, the one thing that we can control to some degree is the moisture content. So this whole guide is really centered around that. So any mold control is going to be centered around moisture control, right? Okay, so let's get started here. So first and foremost, we want to walk the perimeter of your home to make sure that there's no like rainwater getting inside. So we're just going to kind of do a once overview. Preferably like right after a rain or even when it's raining, right? So we're going to look for standing water touching the house after a rainstorm, right? And let's inspect those gutters, right? As it's raining, just make sure that the gutters are actually flowing and it's not, bubbling up over into the house, and it's always taking the water away from it. And let's look for loose shingles on top of the roof, because, that's where roof leaks start, And just kind of as a general rule, the ground around your house, the highest point of the ground should be right at the base of the house, and then it should taper down from there. And that's how they build them, right? So that's the right way to build them. So but over time, erosion happens and things happen. So just kind of look, around your house to make sure that there's no water getting in. Next, we'll go inside the house and we will look at problem areas, dark, damp places mainly, right? So I've got a few listed here. Cabinets, window frames, under the bath mat. If you have a bath mat, there will be mildew and mold buildup under there because it just cannot escape. So make sure you keep that clean. And behind your washer machine or behind your refrigerator, right? Now these are areas, if I could help you today, take some time out and pull your refrigerator out from beneath the wall. Now be careful because there's probably a water line going to your ice maker and things like that. So don't rip that out of the wall. But if you pull that out, you'd be surprised of all the dust and everything that collects behind there. And with moisture and it being dark and damp, there may be some mold. And if you clean that up, that can really help the air quality in your home. Same with your washing machine and things like that. Now, if there's something in your home that you forgot or that I forgot, here's something neat that you can do inside of this one pager is you can add something, right? So let's do that, like behind toilet, right? Bam. And now you can add that, right? So this is a really cool tool, right? As you go through it, I guess I forgot to mention, as you go through, you can click, okay, done, and then unclick it, do this every 90 days, right? And you can add to it and take away. This belongs to you. Let's move on to cleaning and disinfecting visible mold. The best case scenario for any visible mold is to dig down to the studs, completely expose everything, clean it up properly, dry it out, and then build back. And this should be done by a professional. However, I do understand that availability and budgeting doesn't always allow for that. So there's a few things that I've put together here to try to help you maybe do it yourself, right? Okay, so first off is Decon 30. That's a pretty good, well-trusted product that you can just buy, and it's pretty well trusted. It's EPA approved, and there's actually a link in the Amazon list that we have later on in the guide that'll take you to that. And then there's this other method that we have. It's all natural, and what it is, it's vinegar, baking soda, and water. And you may have all this stuff at your home already, and you can go after small mold jobs, and it will surprisingly pull some moisture out, and it may be all you need. So if you see here, it's 2 parts baking soda with 1 part vinegar and 1 part water. Okay, mix until it becomes a thick paste. Spread the mix onto the affected area, and then scrub. And once it dries, you scrub it off and you repeat the process. And that is surprisingly effective. Okay, so this here is my favorite do-it-yourself. It's all natural. Everything here is completely safe and it will not hurt you. And it's quite effective, really. So if you find some mold, it's not that much, this will help you get the mold off. I'll show you this little trick. So what we have here is we have baking soda, vinegar, and water. 2 parts baking soda, 1 part water, 1 part vinegar. We mix that together and we get a little solution that we can put on the mold. So there's 1 part, 2 parts. Then we go 1 part water, and then 1 part vinegar. Now, You need a big enough cup that it doesn't go over, that it doesn't foam over. So I like to just pour it back and forth as far as mixture goes. It is now. Okay. I'll put it in here so you can see a little better. Now, slide this off to the side. We'll pretend it has mold on it, but thank God it doesn't. What you do is you can take a paintbrush and what you'll do is you'll just put that on the mold. That's a good combination and it allows it to penetrate that wood, seep in there and dry, and then both the baking soda and vinegar will dry that out. Okay, so now we're gonna look at condensation, right? We're gonna go around the home and find areas that are more prone to condensation than others and wipe that up. You know, get rid of that moisture. Get a towel, wipe up that condensation. So go around and check your windows, right? Is there water droplets on your windows on the inside? And window seals, bathroom sink, that should all be wiped up. That's gonna help your air quality and decrease the moisture. Kitchen sink, water pipe condensation. It could be a result of condensation and it could be a result of a leak, but you wanna address that either way. Get it wiped up, fix those leaks, and again, you can add things in here to things that might be unique to your home. Oops, you can delete that. Getting airflow to move in your home is actually very important. So us as humans, we breathe in air and it's oxygen rich air, and our bodies exchange that oxygen for CO2 and then we breathe it out. And if we're sealed off from outside, with that air just gets stale. It's just that same stale air that gets, breathed in and breathed out and exchanged with the humans that are inside of there. And it's oxygen deprived air. It's real high in CO2. So we really want to get ventilation working in our homes, if at all possible. The ventilation to remove the moisture from your home is good. And we have those fans in our bathrooms, or at least we should. So it's important to run the fan while we shower and let it run for a good 30 minutes after the fact. That brings a lot of moisture into the home, showering, hot showers, right? And then leave the bathroom door open. Let that air out, right? The air quality in your home is going to be better if you hang your wet towels than just leave them sit. Or run your vent fan in your kitchen while you're cooking. So mold will actually build up in your coffee maker as well. Anything that has moisture and it's sealed off, there's a risk for mold. So we want to open that up and air it out. Same with your dishwasher. Now, so leave that open. Just leave it cracked. Now, obviously, it's not going to be all the way open. You'll be hitting your shin on it, but leave it cracked. Let it air out overnight, and because those are hotbeds for mold and bacteria buildup. And your HVAC filters, right? So changing these more frequently is better, because if you have high moisture content in your home, that can be a breeding ground for mold or bacteria. If your HVAC filter looks like this, you definitely have a serious problem. But this is a place that you really want to keep an eye on and keep those changed out regularly. Now we're going to move on to monitoring your humidity and your air quality, right? This is important. So there's a tool called the hygrometer. Now, they're not very expensive. And then also I want to kind of take you through an app that I found. I am quite fond of this app. This app is called AccuWeather, and it's an awesome app. It tells you a bunch of stuff. And as you can see, as you scroll down here, my favorite part is if you get into the allergy outlook. Okay, so mold is an allergen. So, and it lists, a number of allergens here. First we have, tree pollen, ragweed and pollen, mold, grass pollen, dust, and dander. And look at that, mold right in the middle there. Everything is low, mold is high. So, but check this out. If you click here, see weekly outlook, it goes out 7 days. So on the top left there, it says tree pollen. That's what's highlighted. So that's what we're looking at, for a 7-day forecast. And so it gets up into moderate, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you go to, ragweed pollen, we're low for that whole time. If you go mold, look at that. It's high. This part of the country, mold is an issue. It just is. And grass pollen, that stays low. Dust and dander. Okay, so Saturday and Sunday, we're going to have high dust and dander as well as high mold, right? So if you know what you react to as far as allergic responses, you can keep an eye on this app, right? And if everything's low, you're going to want to seize that opportunity to really open your windows and doors and let your home air out, right? Because it's going to kind of really replenish a lot of that oxygen and clean your home out. So this is a really cool app. I recommend you go down and download it. It's free. So go ahead and download the app. So now that you got that app downloaded, let's take a look at homemade dehumidifiers. Okay, so this is just a list of the things needed to make this homemade dehumidifier. Drawstring bags, which are linked in the Amazon list, or old socks. That's what I use. I feel like everybody should have those. If they don't, lucky you, right? And then powdered laundry detergent or baking soda. Now I'll cut to a video of me showing exactly how to do it, and then I'll meet you back here. That powdered laundry detergent. So if you get a little cup like this, what I've found is if you just stick it in the sock, once it's down in there, you got it down in the sock, then you can just turn the cup over once it's in there, and then you don't spill. And then you just tie it. Go ahead and make some of these. Throw them in your closet, throw them under your sink. It's not very glamorous, but it works. Now, if you want to avoid the toxicity of the Tide, you can just use baking soda. Works just as good. This adds a little fresh scent, to those areas. So that is your do-it-yourself at-home dehumidifier. So make you some of them up, and that'll absorb that moisture into that sock and keep mold from growing in those spots. All right, thank you so much. All right. So now that you've got those dehumidifiers made up, throw those sacks or those socks in your closets, under your sinks, things like that. It's going to help absorb moisture and odor as well. And then there's the notes section, right? So you can put in any notes you want to kind of help remind you how to keep a handle on the air quality mold issues inside your home, right? All right, so utilize that to your best ability. And this here is an Amazon list, right? So all the things we talked about, this guide, here's a list I put together. So you might not want to just go order everything because there's different sizes, right? Because we got vinegar here, we got a gallon of it, we got just a quart of it. Here's the Decon 30. There's a gallon, and then there's just a little spray bottle of it. But there's sponges, rags, all that stuff. Went through, they've all got good reviews, and the things that you don't have, you can click and get it. Flashlights obviously really important. That's a 2-pack. Good reviews, good pricing, things like that. So utilize that, and you can add to this list as well. You can go through Amazon and put things on this list for yourself. So that's pretty neat. Take this guide. It's very, very useful. So you can take this and you can send it to your grounds person, your house cleaner, and things like that, and then give them a framework of things that they can look over. It's very important to understand the quality of your life is directly correlated to the quality of the air that you breathe. Primarily the air you breathe when you sleep, okay? So neurotoxic waste builds up in your brain all day long, and a good night's sleep will flush that out. But if we're breathing bad air quality, it doesn't have a chance to do that properly. So if we're really going to live our best life, we need to be mindful of the quality of the air in our homes. If you really want to take this to the next level and ensure that you have the best indoor air quality, you need a proactive approach. So as you can see on the bottom here, we have proactive purification. This will ensure that you have the absolute best air quality, but we can jump on the phone and curate a solution, or even come check out your situation, run testing and everything else, and tell you exactly what you need to live the life that you deserve without allergy and asthma symptoms and things like that. So thank you all so much for downloading this guide, and I hope it helps. Thank you so much.